So I'm going to get started a little bit in a minute. There's no kind of great rush tonight because there's no real structure to this because, like I said, when some of the people joined, welcome to the renewal seminar, by the way, to the people that joined a little bit later. Everyone has got different needs in this group and across Clubmate. So you have different types of renewals. Some of you are clubs and some of you are fisheries. Some of you run on the calendar year and might have renewed already and think maybe, it could have gone a little bit better. Some of you were coming up to the fishing season and thinking nearly time to renew. Let's make sure we don't miss out on a few things or remembering back to last year. And some of them will be rolling, when you get 12 months from the day you buy it. So people are renewing differently all through the year. Now, the reason we wanted to do this seminar is because we see kind of similar issues throughout the year. They tend to repeat themselves, and there are some real easy wins in there, which is by no means your fault, but really easy things that could avoid a lot of work. So we just wanted to talk through renewals and what the best practice might be, maybe give you some ideas to tidy it up a little bit, and also give you a bit more confidence when it comes to your members, because it can be quite challenging when speaking to the members. Because you can't see what they see to have the confidence of knowing what they're seeing, and you can't say to them what they're seeing or where they should go because maybe you haven't done it yourself. I know that some of the clubs, obviously, you guys as owners or bailiffs on this call will pay for your own membership properly normally, but some of you will be free, so you've probably never gone through the renewal process. So we're going to have a talk through it. I'm just going to really organically go through, my live demo site here. There's no slideshow involved. I'm going to go through a demo site. I've set up a couple of demo memberships that are kind of in a state of renewal at the moment to have a look at. But what I'd really like is for anyone during the call to just ask questions all the way through, rather than just wait till the end and maybe we've forgotten where we're at. If any of this strikes a note with you as I'm going through it, use the raise hand function. For any of you that aren't familiar with it, and Babs just raised the hand there, if you look at the bottom of your screen with the big red leave call button, to the left of that, you'll see a hand. If you press that hand, that will raise the hand. And then we'll when you've raised your hand, we'll call you out and get you to ask, or you can ask in the chat message, which if you look on the bottom right of your screen, there's a little square speech bubble that's got a written chat box, and Babs will monitor that and raise any questions with us. There doesn't appear to be anyone on the call with a lot of ambient background noise, so for now I'm going to leave the microphones on, just so we don't have to keep turning them on and off for questions. Occasionally you get someone with a lot of ambient background noise, but we'll leave that for now. So
it would be me with the fighter jet.
It is you. Turn yours off. Right, so I'm going to hop over firstly to my demo club in Clubmate. This is the club I would use to demonstrate to prospective new businesses and new clients, and also the one that we can demonstrate a little bit in. It's very similar to what you're all using, only there's a little bit more in here than perhaps you guys are used to. And if we if we're to hop over to the mobile view, this is what a member would see if they join this. There's a lot of content in there, but if you look at the top, it's got the same buttons all you guys have got: start membership, make booking, access your online shop, things of that nature. So if I hop back here, first thing is, what do we mean by renewals? This sounds really obvious, and I apologize if any of this call seems really kind of aimed low, guys, but we do see some mistakes that could be really cut off at the bottom of the ladder. So renewals obviously means that someone's coming to the end of their membership. And to take for an example, we're going to look at a calendar year. So membership runs from the 1st of January to the 31st of December, calendar year. So the membership ends on the last day of the calendar year. Now, the two choices you've got are, do you want your members to renew before then, or do you want them to renew after then? Or the third choice is, do you not want them to renew at all? Do you just want them to go buy a new one? That case is going to vary, firstly, depending on whether you've got joining fees. Now, any club that's got joining fees has a slightly more challenging time on renewal, because if you're a club that just has a standard set pricing when you're doing your membership, it doesn't matter whether they follow the renew process or they just go buy a new one. If the membership's £50 regardless, they can renew or buy a new one, makes no odds. It's how my club runs, same price, no joining fee. If you've got a joining fee, and take, for example, they've paid £20 joining fee, and then year 2, they shouldn't be paying that, so it's gone from 70 down to 50, then they've got to follow the strict renewal process in the system during the time they're allowed to renew, so that they're pointed from the £70 in the first year to the £50 option in the second year. And that all comes down to renewal windows, which I'm going to go through in a minute. And during that renewal window, the member has the ability to pay. They can press the renew button, an orange renew button, which you'll see in a second. I'm going to show you. If I go to my members list, and I've got demo members here. These are all real email accounts, by the way. These are all email accounts that I've got on my phone so that I can demonstrate different memberships to people. If I go to log in as my chap here, you can see I'm now logged in as Mr. Demo member. Real nice looking chap. He currently doesn't have any kind of membership at all. If I go to memberships, and just as a little additional bit of information, guys, I don't know whether any of you have noticed this when setting up your membership plans, but we've just added membership plan categories as an option. So in the, and I'll show you this when we come to the technical behind making a membership plan and the renewals. In the membership plan settings, you can now place these memberships into different groups. So you can imagine this could be adult, senior, junior tickets, if you've got various options in those, or it could be one lake or another lake and different tickets, or whatever you might, you can see here I've got general membership and syndicate membership. Now what this does is allows you the ability to filter. So now I can only see my demo ones for tonight. I can turn that off. If I press general membership, I just get the old adult, senior, juniors. And if I turn that off and click on the syndicate one, I just get a syndicate one, which I haven't actually got one, so you can't see it. But so that's something I'll have a talk about in a minute. It's not strictly renewal related, but what it does is filter out, make it a little bit easier for your members to see less options and get less confused. As was mentioned earlier, sometimes people don't press adult, they press senior, all the rest of it. If you have the ability to filter by, oh yes, this one applies to me, it's just going to give you a few less options. So renewal specials, I've set up a couple of demo membership options here so that we can just go through this. I'm just going to have to dummy in a few details, guys, so bear with me. I'm just going to set my guy up with some an address over here. Oh. This is free, by the way, because I don't fancy paying out my own pocket to demonstrate to you guys. So you can see I've got a membership plan. The membership plan I've bought expires Sunday coming, so the Sunday at the end of this week. And I've set it so that it's renewable 5 days before and 5 days after it finishes. So that means that from 5 days before Sunday, I get this orange renew icon on my membership plan here, and that will remain for 5 days after the membership ends. And while I can see that renewal icon, that means I can renew this membership. So when you see the renew icon, you press on your membership. This will bring you here and tell you you can renew now. And when I go through, you will see, and this is one of the things you can tidy up, you can see I get presented with all of the different membership plans that I have on offer. But I can follow through, I can select this membership and I can renew it, and I can follow that through to follow the regular renewal process. So if you bear with me, guys, I'm just going to log back into my admin account. So what does that look like from the other end? So I'm going to go into my settings and membership plan here. Here are your list of membership plans. Hopefully everyone on this call is familiar with how to find that, but just to slow it down a little. Settings, membership plans, and just to cover it off again, here's that new membership plan categories option. So if you click on there, you can see I've set 3 categories up with the add new category button over here. General memberships, renewals, syndicates. As I said, that's entirely down to you guys what you might categorize in there, whether it's adult, senior, juniors, or one-time payment and direct debit options, entirely up to you. You can make whatever categories you like. And then if I choose the renewal special membership that I've knocked up for tonight, just to demonstrate, this here is where you will then find those categories to place that plan in. So obviously the renewal special I've placed into the renewal specials group, which will then place it where you guys saw when I was demonstrating from the members' point of view. So renewal special. This is all just information, obviously. This is just the front-facing customer description, so you can put whatever you'd like in here. If I go on to the details tab, which is where most of the magic happens in a membership plan, the important part is the end date, the start date, and then whether it's a new membership and renewals plan. So as far as end date goes, as I said, I've set this one for a few days ahead of us, so we're within the renewal period. But instead of a fixed end date, we could set that to be a fixed year, so it runs 1 year from when they buy it. We can set it in days, weeks, months, years, or a very fixed end date, as I've done here. Most cases, I would say from my experience that most of you have a fixed renewal that ends either the end of the river season or the end of the calendar year or similar. And the start date, just to cover this off with everyone, if you see yours and it's 01/01/0001, that translates as the day they buy it. So whenever they buy it, whether they buy it today, tomorrow, the day before it ends, that will start the membership as soon as they've paid for it. If you want to run a calendar year membership, you would run 1st of the 1st this year, and you would run 1st of the 1st, 2025 to the 31st of the 12th, 2025. Functionally, it doesn't really make much difference. Dave Burton's got a question for us. Go ahead, Dave.
If you've got a fixed end date
Yeah.
and you do it that way, does that mean they actually get a longer year if they join earlier or renew earlier?
Technically speaking, but then that would overlap a membership they've already got.
Yeah.
That would obviously for a new member, if you've already set the dates of the plan to next year, and then you're still letting people sign up earlier than the 1st of January, yes, they would get even longer. But for most cases, it's a case that obviously they'll be overlapping an existing membership, so it wouldn't make any functional difference. I don't like it. The only time I ever use 01/01/0001 is if I had a rolling 12 months from when you buy it, in which case I would run it for 1 year with a 01/01/001, so it starts today and lasts for 1 year. If you've got a fixed end date, although you can still do that, it will end up giving them something like a 430-day membership, for example, depending on when they buy it. There's no real good reason to do that. There's nothing terrible about it, but it's untidy. So I would suggest that if you have a fixed end date and not a year, if you've got a very fixed season, have a very fixed start date. It won't break anything, but certainly it's a good idea to have that.
Well, my club decided I've got to do it all. I'm still doing it. Don't really want to be doing it, but I've got to do it. But they're rejigging our membership year.
Yeah.
It'll be starting and finishing at the same time, but I've got to change everything. I've got to do it by the 4th of March when the AGM is.
So what's the change? Sorry, Dave, if it's staying.
Well, we've got Waters on Canal and Rivers Trust. We've got a reservoir. But all last year they said, "Oh, it's fine for next year," and now they're going to take it away from us for 15 months. So we've got to rejig our entire membership.
The ticket, like the
everything's
actual cost.
Got to change.
So so the dates are the same, but it's just you're changing what you get for the ticket and change the price.
I just got. That's what I thought I'd come on here and have a quick look.
Yeah, no worries. We won't dwell on your particular case, but knock us a message, Dave, and I'll help you knock through it because it'll be quicker for us to go through them than yourself probably. So,
okay.
Right, Liam's got his hand up.
You're on mute, Liam.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to get Google to allow me to speak. So, for a wild trout fishery, do I set? I think this is what I usually do. I can't remember. Your earliest start date is going to be 15th of March because that's the start of the trout season.
Yep.
And because it's an annual membership, then we just set the end date of the end of the year. So you're sort of the best way of doing it.
So do you run it? So your season runs from the 15th of March until
5th of October.
So you can just set that as the fixed period, but what you need to be conscious of, and do you have join-in fees, Liam?
For new members, yes.
So what you need to be conscious of is your current members. If you've got a window that doesn't cover from end to end, as in the start date and the end date are literally abutting. If you go in March to October, your members are all going to drop off and have to start all over again, pay the join-in fee. That's right. when this tab comes into play, because your renewal before and after needs to cover any gap. So there is always the temptation, and I'll take the course season, for example, because I'm a course angler. If the season ends in March and starts in June, then they've got a 3-month gap where they're not a member. Now, if my membership ended on the 14th of March and that said 0, on the 14th of March, I've got no option to renew and I have to start a membership, and the only one I can see has got a joining fee. That's obviously not what we want. So if it ends on the 14th of March and we're trying to bridge a gap till June, we obviously need to put something in the realms of 90 days so that they still get that orange button for the 3-month gap. For you, it would be October to March again. So you need enough days to cover from October to March so that in the dead season, they can all renew without paying a joining fee.
So
you get my drift?
Yeah. So if they're going to start renewing after our AGM at the end of the month, then I should set my start date of
1st of March,
1st of February, so they can start joining from 1st of February. But the end date is going to be the end of.
So always keep the start and end date. Always keep the start and end date when they can fish. Don't worry about when they can see it, because we can cover that with the renewal window. The important part about the start and end date is always keep that the days they can actually fish to and from. Don't worry about when they can buy it, because that's what you cover with these renew windows, mean that they can buy it when the ticket's not active. I know the reason we're here is to kind of make that a bit more clear, but hopefully, again, if I was to say that this finished at the end of the river season on the 14th of March, and I'm going to let them start renewing from mid-February, I would put the 30 days before, so they can start renewing and they'll get that orange button in the mid-February for the ticket they're on that ends in the middle of March. Yeah. But because I still want them to be able to renew until the river season starts again on June 16th, I would then also give them 90 days after. Yeah. At that point, they will remain in a renewal state even when their current membership's finished, and they can see 30 days before, 90 days after their season ends to still renew. And just to kind of hop back a little bit, this button here, which you'll all recognize as the I've got an active membership green icon here, tells you how many days are left. Once you've finished, so let's say 31st of December, your ticket's finished, that will turn yellow if you're in a renewal window. So if your renewal window is 30 days after the 31st, you will be yellow and it will say expired. Once that renewal window closes, they will go from expired to cancelled. And that means they can't see the renew button anymore. There's no possible way without starting a new membership. Yeah. So green goes to yellow. I haven't got anyone in yellow, but it will say yellow expired. I know some of you will know what that looks like. And once that window has ended and there is no choice for them to renew and they've only got the choice to go start new membership, pay joining fee, they will then appear as cancelled. Yeah. So that's the difference between those ones. There is another question here. We've got Mark Brinkman. Go ahead, Mark.
Yes, good evening. Well, we've had a slight problem that we've had members either renewing and some have bought new memberships. Now that poses a slight problem. If they bought a new membership, you have the old memberships expired. And so they don't drop off the system as such, even though they bought a new one. And so then it seems to be a manual intervention to have to go into Clubmate and delete all the expired memberships. Otherwise, I've not found a way of sorting only the expired members.
So if your members, if your plans are set up correctly, and I'm quite happy to have a look for you tomorrow, if your plans are set up correctly, that expired will disappear on its own once the renewal window's finished. So once your renew period is over, expired turns to cancelled anyway, so they will all disappear from expired and become cancelled. If you want to filter by expired, and like I say, I don't actually have any at the moment, but if you want to filter to see expired, you can use the inactive or expired filter in the list here.
The only problem there is where they've taken out a new membership, it pulls them all up as well.
Expired.
So if you've got, if they've taken a new membership and they've still got an expired membership, if you filter by expired, it brings them up even though they've taken a new membership. Yeah,
because obviously that doesn't, it pulls the expired one regardless of if they've got another one. Yeah. So you want to filter by they've only got an expired one and haven't done anything.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've cracked it now, but I've had to manually go in and delete everyone who's bought a new membership. So I suppose the question is, how can I direct people only to renew and not to take a new one?
We've discussed this earlier on. There's no real way to not get them to press start a new membership other than they should press the renew button. The one thing I've asked for, by the way, that little renew icon, I don't find the clearest thing in the world.
No, there's another problem as well, and that is it doesn't disappear after a membership's been purchased.
It doesn't if they press start a new one.
No. So I've had people now take out extra memberships because they thought they hadn't done it.
I mean, it's really difficult to explain to someone they don't need to buy it twice. You know, there are challenges in here that just come down to user error. You know, the one change I've asked for is renew. To me is quite clear. You know, you press on renew, you renew your membership. I've asked for that to be spread across that whole box and say click here to renew. Because what we see in some cases is that they will see that renew button and go, okay, I'll start a new membership. So they look at that button, press there. I can see the journey there. It doesn't happen in a huge, certainly not the majority, definitely the minority of cases, but I can see why it happens. So I've asked that people kind of see that as a signpost rather than I should click here. They see, oh, I should go renew. I'll go to start a membership and buy a new plan. So I have asked for that to be extended and to say click here to renew, so it's a little bit more precise. But other than that, there's nothing we can really do to challenge that. But yeah, I'll have a look.
When I have filtered by expired only, because I intend to send out chasing emails, that will only send emails to those in that filtered format.
Yes,
it will. Good.
Yeah, whatever you do in this screen, whatever you filter by, it will only send to the people you filtered by.
Yeah.
So that's why it sends to then selected member options. It will then only select. So I can obviously then tie this down to adults only, and I can only send it to males. Various options. It will only send then to the people populated on the screen. So yes, once you've done any amount of filtering on here, it will only send to the people you've filtered. Let's get rid of all these filters now. Right, next one, Andrew Robinson. Go ahead.
Right, evening, Rob. You said about the renewal window and sort of extending it beyond the start of the season, like up to 90 days.
Yeah.
We've got a sort of 80 to 90 strong waiting list. What would you feel about when do people sort of lose the opportunity? And
I mean, obviously, this is a case for case basis. It depends how kind of cutthroat you want to be with your current members. I would always say that if I had to guess on clubs where I see that and you've got quite an extensive waiting list, I would say it's usually 30 days. Bearing in mind, that's what we would do by default. You know, when we set a club up for people, we set a 30-day after renewal window by default.
Right.
So that most people will leave it that way because they won't change what we've already set for them. So they'll give them a month after it's started, and then they'll bin that off, and they will, you know, that they've lost their opportunity, and they'll send it to new members. So I would say 30 days is probably the standard. But again, this is a personal decision. This is a decision that the club would make. And to be fair, if you've got a really kind of active waiting list that really want to join, then so be it. You know, the people have had their chance. You know, so be it. Push to the people that want to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, Gary Packham.
Yeah. Hi there. Thank you. Our renewal date is the 1st of April.
Yeah.
And we allow people to join or renew from the 1st of March. So I would set the days before to be 31.
Yeah.
But the date after, I'm not too worried. I still like them to renew, even if it's sort of 4 or 5 months later. So can you set that date to more than 90 days?
Yes.
You
can put 365, although I have asked if that actually exists. You know, the thing is, I don't go back and check for all 365.
No.
I am aware that it definitely extends for up to like 180. I'm definitely seen.
Okay.
But I've never gone. I never think to look at the end of 360 days. But you can, technically speaking, you could year round that renewal window.
Right.
And just leave it open entirely.
A lot of people still think of the 16th of June as time to renew. So
and a lot of people, you know, pike anglers don't buy till October. You know,
no,
barbel anglers buy it in the autumn. Roach anglers buy it in the winter. You know, various things like that. People don't really buy a year's worth of fishing in many cases. There aren't many people that fish for 12 months. No. You know, people buy 3 months. You know, at my own club, like I say, pike anglers pay the same amount for October, November, December. You know, the spring guys, bream anglers buy it for spring. You know, and they accept that, and that's what they pay, and we keep the membership open all year round. So yes, you can extend that. You can put 365 on that if you want to.
Yeah, okay.
There's a big old queue coming up, but I am happier to answer your questions than for me to kind of say things without knowing if they're hitting home. So, Martin S.
Yeah, hi Rob. I don't know how unusual we are, but we have a 6 month for the option.
You're very
on it,
unusual, you are.
as well as them. So when it comes to those guys renewing, I can see a situation where they took a 6 month ticket in December, so that will run out in June.
Yeah.
Now, if they renew that, well, really, they need to renew potentially a new 1 year ticket. So I'm trying to get my head around how we would set this up, if it's possible, to renew a 6 month into a 1 year one.
Yeah, so I'll show you that in a minute. So you just need to point them to the plans you want them to. What is the reason? Are you trying to get 6 month people to commit to a 1 year plan?
Well, we'd love them to.
Is that the intention? Is to get them to renew to a 1 year plan?
We've had a lot of people join for 6 months now in December. Most of them are carp anglers, and I can see them wanting to rejoin again in the summer. But if they click on renew as it stands, all they're going to do is renew effectively a winter ticket. So I want them to have the option of taking an annual ticket or not at all.
So if we remember when I showed you that when I pressed renew, I could see all of the membership plans in question.
Yeah.
If I go to my renewal special membership here and I go to that renewal tab, and we've covered the windows, at the bottom here you can see all of the membership plans listed. Now, if you don't tick any of those at all, they'll see all of them. Some people think if you don't tick any, you'll see none of them, but that's not the case. If you leave it all unticked, they will see every plan when they press that renew button. Right. If you tick any of them, that's all they will see. When they press renew, they will only see the ones that you've ticked, if any are ticked. So if one plan's ticked, they will only see one. If I click adult and senior, they will see adult and senior, and vice versa. Yeah. So in your case, Martin, what you would do is, let's pretend this is your 6 month membership that I'm playing around with here. Hello, the internet's killed me.
Okay.
Just tick your full year plans.
Yeah.
So they will then, when they press renew, they will only see 12-month plans.
Lovely. Thank you, Rob.
It's well worth, and obviously we've kind of fitted one of Martin's very specific use cases here, but it's well worth just for the user journey, because you'll all be aware that you've had users that can't find and don't do and all the rest of it. It's always worth doing the kind of housekeeping on this, either when you join us or before your renewal season. So everyone should be able to see, and just so we've got a better example of this, I'm going to switch to a normal plan. So I'm going to go to adult membership. Limit people to be able to see the membership plans they can touch. So basically an adult can stay an adult, and an adult can turn into a 65-year-old. What he can't do is go backwards. So why show it to him? He can't age down. So he can only see adult and senior. That way, when he goes to renew, he's not got 40 options. And by the way, our record so far is a club that's got 80 membership plans. So if you can imagine when they press renew and get 80 tiles, it can be quite intimidating for the members. So if you want to cut down on the journey there, it's well worth, for all of your membership plans, just sit down for half an hour and think, right, what can adult 17 to 64 possibly be this year? Now, he can obviously still be an adult for quite a lot of years, but he might have turned into a senior citizen this year. And in some cases, you'd maybe tick disabled. Unfortunately, obviously, may have become disabled. But a junior can't possibly become a 65-year-old from 16, so he doesn't need that one. So he sees junior and adult. So if you do the homework and go through your plans, then everyone, when they renew, is limited to 2 or 3 plans that they may become. And that's going to stop them going, oh, I'm not sure which one it is. Oh, dear, I've got 12 options and I pressed the wrong one and bought the wrong one. So it's worth...
Is that set per member, Rob?
Say again, sorry?
Is that set per member?
So this is per membership plan. So this is anyone that's on the adult plan, when they renew, will see adult and, I've done it wrong now, but adult and senior. So
okay, right, yeah, okay. Yep.
So I'm saying that Bob has a question as well next.
Yeah, 2 seconds, and I will just do it. So you've got my renewal special plan here, and when we did it before, you could see that they saw every single plan. If I just tick that one and I go back to member number 2 here, and hopefully it's still right. No, I bought it again. That's the problem. I need to give it to myself again. That's the problem. 2 seconds. But now that I've ticked that box, he will only see that plan. So he renews from the same plan to the same plan to the same plan and limits his options to get confused and go missing. Who's next, Babs?
Bob Bailey.
Sorry, me again. I think our club is on. We're using a renewal, but since we don't charge a membership to start the membership, is it worth us just being able to just buy a ticket, a new ticket for each year?
Yeah. So
how
for
do
any
we change to that?
So the only reason to ever do the new members to renewals option is if one of them's got a joining fee. I haven't set one of these up, but let's pretend that these two are new members and renewals, and this is a really expensive joining fee because it's cost you 370 quid. But the first year, this would be set as new members and renewals so that anyone can pay the full-on joining fee price. And then if you make it a renewal plan, and a lot of you will know this already, no one can just go in and buy it. The only people that will ever see it are the renewing members. But to change that, if you wanted to change that, in this details tab, it is as simple as this button. So instead of it being renewals only, you would just make it new members and renewals so that anyone can buy it. It's worth questioning whether or not your joining fees are worth a lot to your club. Now, there are levels of joining fee. You know, we see clients that have got £5. We see clubs that have got £300 as a joining fee. Is it really worth it for the barrier to membership? Because you only need a handful of members for a £5 joining fee to make up for the cost. So all the joining fees, admin fees or whatever else, and this is not us telling you that you shouldn't have a joining fee, but certainly it adds complication. For every person that's got a joining fee, if you're a club that has a standard membership at £100, and let's say you got a £50 joining fee, you have to have two membership plans. You need to have a new one and a renew one. So that at the end of year one, you need to point it to that one so that when they see that one. So then you've got membership plan to membership plan, but then you've obviously got to have a new adult, renew senior, renew, so you have to have twice as many membership plans to go from joining fee to no joining fee. Can I
just cut in a second? We don't have a renewal fee or anything.
Yeah.
Is it worth us? Someone asked me the other day, can you make it easier to renew rather than buying a new membership? Can we just have a button to renew? And I wasn't sure about that. So maybe for the other people who are listening as well, it could be that we don't need the renew button at all. Is it easier to press the renew button to get a membership? Or
I mean, I would say so, but the problem is I'm so used to doing it, it's intuitive to me. I can buy a membership in less than 30 seconds. So
we have members join in. I mean, we're on the calendar year, but then I let people join in December for free if it's a new member.
Yeah.
So because pike anglers and such like that, and I do have people renewing in November, just up until the end of December.
So they're still buying a ticket in November for a couple of months.
Yeah.
I mean, I always wonder in my own club when to actually cut it off, because we still have people buying down to about 2 weeks.
So what I'm saying is, I probably don't need is there any benefit for the renew button? Is it any easier than buying a new membership?
It's supposed to narrow the journey, really, because it's got a big button and if you do that kind of housekeeping that I've just shown you, it narrows it down to being on the plan you're always on.
Okay.
So you press renew, it gives you the same plan or senior, maybe, for example.
Yeah.
You press that and then you press pay because your card was already stored last year. And it's like I say, it's a very straight line journey. There are no choices, there is no branches. So you go, time to renew, press button, blah, 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 blah. Done. It's a very quick process.
Yeah.
It's just
to be honest with you, I never understood it. Why it was already set up by Owen for me when we first joined back in the pandemic.
He's a troublesome lad, is Owen, to be honest. He's a funny old boy.
So it was already, so we were probably one of the earliest clubs. And so I always left it as it was and never sort of meddled with that.
So I really want to get in touch with people that, yourselves have been with us for a long time. A lot's changed, and a lot's changed in terms of our understanding of what people do. And we've obviously come in with new eyes, people like myself.
Well,
and Babs
I'm talking to other clubs now who have come on since us, and we all want to keep it simple, and we think there's far too much on it. But there is obviously, like you say, there's clubs that want 80 different membership plans. Phew. That's a lot of work for someone. It's a lot of work.
This is the problem. Obviously, we need to appeal to the broadest base across use cases. We've got over 300 fisheries and clubs now. There were 49,000 different users in December. So it's hard to say, even if it's yourself and 2 others, that's a drop in the ocean compared to what appeals to the most people, kind of thing. So we've always got our eyes on what more people want. You know, we've put that.
Okay. So the only reason why I never looked at the renew was because I didn't want anyone close after Christmas suddenly having it automatically renewed by direct debit if they've got no money in their accounts.
Yeah, so
that makes sense.
We've got a couple of clients that do auto charge. So they will auto charge every single year with no input whatsoever. Because we can set up the payment schedule to do an automated card payment once a year. So it will just charge, start your membership, away you go. I've never been that keen myself. It's great for money. It's great for revenue because most people don't cancel automatic payments. You know, as you all know with any subscription, people don't really cancel. But from a member's point of view, I know as an angler myself, I'd feel fairly peeved if I got forced my money out every year. So we've got people that charge automatically, got people that offer direct debit solutions, and we've got people where you have to press renew. And then we've got clubs that don't renew at all. They just go start another one, start another one, start another one, start another one.
Which is what we've been doing.
Which there's no harm in that, Phil, to be fair. You're at the kind of bottom, easiest way, no complications. It's just the same every year. There's nothing wrong with that, really. Renewals is a lot more important for anyone with joining fees. It really is. It's essential. You know, you can't do it any other way than having them renew, so you can show them the cheaper price. Anyway, we've got a late comer.
That's good.
I just ran the camera. I've been listening to you.
Before I roll on for a few more questions, and I'm happy to just do questions, by the way, because it's got a lot of value. Just to make one thing clear, and this is something we see quite often, and it's messy. You don't need to make new membership plans every year. One of the things we see all the time is that everyone thinks, oh, right, 24 to 25 is finished. I need to copy that and make it 25 to 26. Or, you know, and then do it again and again and again, and then you delete them or archive the old plans. You don't need to do that. You can just redate the current plan. I think there's a fear out there, or certainly a lack of knowledge behind, if I change the dates on the membership plan, it's going to change it for everyone that's already on it, and it's going to make them all members again. That's not the case. The only thing that will change on a membership plan for people that have already got it is the name. So if I change the name on adult to unicorn, it would call them all unicorn. But the dates don't change. You imagine it like someone's plucked one out of the pile and they've walked off and left. Changing the pile wouldn't change that ticket that's walked off. So you don't need to copy it and do 24, 25, 25, 26, 26, 27. All you need to do is decide when you're stopping it for this year, change the dates, and then let it start again. And save you all that hassle of copy paste, and all the, when you press on your archive plans, you've got about 50. So you don't need to worry about that. And I'm happy to answer questions on that because I know.
Rob, can I? The problem we had when you told me to do that was the fact that people couldn't then see their membership plan. What was the problem? It was the box that was ticked again. Because I always copied and started a new membership plan.
Yeah.
And on your advice, I went to changing the date, but then people could only see the other memberships when they were going in. They couldn't see their own plan.
That must have been a trip up somewhere then, because it definitely works.
Well, it was. You showed it earlier.
Yeah, the reason I say it is because the vast majority of people do it that way, but there's enough clubs that don't and keep copying and pasting. And it doesn't. Functionally it works, but it's a lot of work. Every year creating a new set of plans for a new year. Functionally it works, but it's a lot of hassle.
Yeah, I think it was you've just got to untick those boxes.
You've just got to tick those right options on the renewal tab there.
That's right. Yeah,
that's the only challenge behind that. And obviously,
know that.
once you've set that, Phil, that'll be the same every year, and you don't need to do it again. Like I say, well, that's why
I'm sure we're fine now.
Yeah,
we're good.
I've got a Phil Vanstone next.
Go ahead, Phil.
Good evening, everyone. Rob, going back to what you were saying about the renewals, with the renewal banner that comes up, Would it be possible when we set it to actually have a fixed tile that comes up renewal and takes away start a new membership?
That's a no right now, because it just isn't the way things work, because a lot of places have both. You know, they have plans that you can still buy new, so I can't make that one disappear to just have that one. So
At least
yeah,
just add one in that just says renewal, so that way, and then that go yellow or something, which would actually draw the member to that one.
well,
and
so
take it away from a new membership.
I'm genuinely convinced that if I can expand that button like I've asked the dev team, it will solve most of the people going to the wrong button. If it says here and doesn't just say renew, because that just looks like an advert. You know, if it says renew, it goes, oh, time to renew, go over there. If I can get that bigger and the great big orange tile says click this one to renew, I think that's probably going to solve most of them. It's just, I don't think we're ever going to get something that says, okay, if there's renewals, this starter one doesn't appear, because there's so many places that have both. You know, they still sell a type of membership all year round, but these ones are renewing. So I don't think it'd be enough of a case. But I think if we make that renew button a little bit clearer, I think it would probably stop it. But you have to, like I say, I have to remind myself in support, because you can have a busy day and think the whole world's falling down. But remember the vast tens and tens of thousands that do this with no issue. Bearing in mind, like I said, I think we had 49,000 users in December, over 100,000 over the calendar year. We average about 9 tickets a day. So it's like, I sit there and think, God, it's a busy day. We've had 20 complaints today. And I think that's 100,000 people using this. And it's the same as it filters down to you guys, is you'll get 2-3 members and start thinking, God, none of it works. And then you realize you've got 2,000 members. And if there's 2 or 3 that are having a challenge, the percentages there, it's not so bad. But yes, I agree. We could make it a bit clearer on that button.
Definitely. The other thing was, so, you know, we were talking about the archive plans.
Yeah.
We've got a few now on our system, and basically it's taken us a while to actually work out what we really wanted and what we really needed.
Yeah.
So now we've got stuff that we really don't want that I'd like to delete, but the system won't allow us to delete the archive plans.
No, at the moment, there's no such thing as archive plans, and there's a very good deleting archive plans. There's a very good reason for that, and the first and foremost is, if delete membership plan meant really delete membership plan, it would delete all record of it for everyone that's still on it. So everyone would all of a sudden dematerialize their current membership. So instead of
user old plans for
you, I get you. So
no
initially delete means archived, but we've never really gone further than that and gone, all that looks untidy, because unless you press archive plans, you don't see any of them. So yes, behind the button, look at your archive plans. It gets a bit messy, and you know, I'm quite OCD. It kills me. But at the moment, there's no way to get rid of your archive plans. But again, something I actually spoke about last week. So I'd like to think we'll come up with a solution for that.
I found out about archive plans. I never even saw the button before.
You didn't even know it was there, so it can't be that bad. But yeah, no, I don't disagree with you at all. But the answer, the strict answer at the moment is no. Archive plans remain archived. It's for a very good reason for a start, so that delete doesn't mean really delete for everyone that's already got it. But in terms of tidying it up, I do agree with you, and I've already asked for a solution, but it might be a little while because it's not a functional kind of barrier to doing anything. Right, I'll move on because we've got a lot of questions. Andy CAC.
Yeah, slightly different question really, but it's to do with retention when it comes to renewals. So we have the people that drop out, and we'd like to chase them up, if you like. It's, you know, as we send out an email to them when they join on, it gives them the instructions and things. Is there a facility that we can automatically sort of follow up on members that don't renew?
You can send renewal reminder emails, and then you can send renewals after it's expired. So this is something I wanted to cover, but we've got kind of snowed in questions. For anyone that does or doesn't know this, there is no such thing at the moment as a renewal reminder email that's set up by default. So if you don't set one up, no one gets an email to say it's time to renew. They're expected to know when the end of their season is and go buy one. You know, go in and see that renew button.
I think we got that far.
So, and if you go into message automations, and I'll show you some examples here. I've kind of got a few different ones set up here, but I've set this one up from scratch. Hey, let's call this one time to renew, and I can do a few different things with this, but I'm just going to name it for any reason. So, if we look, you can't actually see this, but there's a list of triggers in here, but for some reason it's not showing the overlay on my screen share. But this has got joined as prospect, started membership, every time they visit, loads of different triggers. But one we want, obviously, for this is membership expires. And if you want to send a renewal reminder, and let's say your renewal window is 30 days, as we've discussed during this call, so your membership ends 31st of December, start of December, they can renew. So if I send an automated email out 30 days, not after, but before, that will send an email 30 days before the membership expires. We're going to send a message, send an email, time to renew. We're going to put time to renew in here. And you're going to put, dear first name. Now, I know these dynamic fields off the top of my head, but that will populate their name when you actually send the email. It's time to renew. I'm not going to go into the nitty gritty. And then you're going to put club name, and that will populate your club name. So it's going to say whatever your club name is. So that will say, Dear John, time to renew from Clubmate Fishery. You can pack that out with more detail. Please head to your members area and click the orange button, blah, 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 blah. So membership expires 30 days before. Now, there's no reason at all you can't go back to that message automation and set up another one for membership expires 30 days after and say, your membership's expired, please go in and renew your membership now. And in the case of Andrew, I think it might have been Andrew, we're about to close this, so if you don't want to pay a joining fee, you better get on with it.
Okay, yeah.
So
there isn't a limit to the number of emails that we can automatically bombard them with if they don't rejoin again.
Not at all. You can fill these with as many as you want.
If they've done that, Rob, and let's say they did answer the first one and rejoin or renewed, do they, because their membership is no longer expired, does that mean they won't get the second reminder?
It's just I have to think about some of these because it's hard to retain everything all the time. I don't think you can actually limit that, to be fair. I think it will go to anyone after their membership has expired, so I don't think you can actually limit. It's a bit blanket. The only thing is I've never seen a use case where anyone sent more than 2, so it's not actually too worrying. We've always we do reasonably often get asked, like, can we send it to people who definitely haven't renewed? And the one thing I say is, well, no, we can't, but just put, if you've already renewed, then please ignore this, or something polite like.
Yeah, you could start something else off, like saying good luck for the new season. Or
yeah,
whatever.
I always throw in a good luck for the season ahead, or tight lines and something of that nature. Right. But I've never seen anyone use more than 2. And if it's 2 in, bearing in mind one's 30 days before, one's 30 days after, that's a 60-day gap. If I've had 2 emails from the club at renewal season, I'd be quite happy with that, really, I guess.
Yeah.
So no, you can't filter out the ones that have started a new one, but at the same time, I've never had, a massive complaint. I've never had any complaint. That,
thank you.
Right, moving on again. Tony Derrick. Oh, one thing, actually, I'm going to cover this before Tony speaks, sorry. An understanding on this automation. Now, this is obviously a good idea. If everyone goes here from here and creates one of these renewal automations, it's not going to send out to anyone that's already got one. Anyone that's already got a membership will not trigger this email. This email, once set up, will only trigger for anyone that buys the membership after you set the email up. So it won't trigger for anyone that's got an active email. So if you've not already got a renewal one in here, the best way you're going to be able to do it is from your bulk messaging feature and manually send one to your active members. This message automation is a great feature, but it gets misunderstood all the time. They think, if I set this email up today, then when the guy that's already a member expires, he'll get a renewal reminder. It will only trigger for people that then start a membership after you've created this email, because then it will go, right, let's pack him with his automated emails. It won't backwards populate for people that are already active members. So it will on their new renewal, when they renew again, they will go, right, this guy who's just renewed needs this trigger, this trigger, this trigger, this trigger. It won't backwards activate for people who are already active for last year. So just to manage the understanding, and once you know these things, it's usually okay. None of these are critical barriers, but if you don't know, you don't know. We'll move on. Who was next? Tony, was it?
Sorry,
yeah,
Tony Derrick.
Yeah, hi Rob. So my question is based on the dates that are within the membership categories for the renewal. So we run our memberships from the 1st of April through to the 31st of March. So I'm looking at the adult membership one that we've got set up. So we've got contract length. 31st of March 2025. So that's when this season's going to run out.
So that's the end date. Yep.
Yeah. And then we've got earliest start date. That's when it's going to end. Earliest start date, 1st to the 4th, 2024. So that was when these memberships started.
Yep.
So question is, when do I need to change that? Do I need to change that earliest start date to the 1st to the 4th, 2025 then?
Yes.
And when would be the best to do that? Because I've set the renewal window to be 17 days before, which would be the 15th of the 3rd, 2025.
Day minus 18 then.
Minus 17 days before.
Yeah, technically day minus 18.
That's the first day after the river season ends.
Yeah.
So they can basically start to renew for next season.
So basically, obviously, this is going to mean they can't buy this season's anymore. So if you've got members that are willing to pay you for one day, please let them. Please let them. Because I'll have your money for a day kind of thing. But as long as if you've got a minus 17, then obviously at 17 days before, your members are going to go in and renew. As long as you do it any time before then. So it's your decision when you feel like your club's finished for this year and starts that year. If you're in that last month and you're thinking, well, no one's paying another new membership, change it then. And bearing in mind that if you don't want anyone messing it up, turn it off for a bit. If you get to that last month and think, well, we probably might scratch one, but it's not worth it for someone to get the wrong season. They've bought last year's instead of the new one. Just turn it off or on. Just turn it off for that month until day 17 and then turn it back on again. And that removes it from visibility. But essentially, if you've got a fixed end date and your window is 17 days, just change it day minus 18. And if anyone buys it before then, they are told what the dates are. It's kind of down to them. It does present them what the dates are. Does that make sense, Tony?
What's I don't understand the day minus 18 bit.
You said that your before window is 17 days.
Yeah.
So basically, as long as you change your dates from 24-25 to 25-26 18 days before, then no one's going to be able to renew till the day after that anyway. You catch my drift? Am I missing the kind of button here? I'm not sure. Is anyone sanity check me on this?
Makes sense.
So yeah, as long as you change those dates any time before that 17 days starts, because they can see it 17 days before their ticket ends, correct?
Yeah.
So any time before that, but that's open to the club when you think you've stopped selling this year's membership. For example, it's unlikely someone's paying you for the last month, for example, so that you might as well change them then. And say, right, tickets for this season are finished now. If you buy them now, it's next season's.
So is it better to give yourself a little bit of a window then? And, let people. So you've got like a day or two to change those dates when nobody can.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, that would be the. I mean, you can either stop the membership plan dates entirely so they're inactive, or if it was me, I'd just turn it off. I'd just say, right, no one can buy it. I'll have a think about what I'm doing this year and change the dates. And then on your day minus 17, I'll just turn it back on. I mean, it's a touch of a button.
Yeah.
Again, there's a wide variety of clubs that a lot leave them turned on all year round, just change the dates on the fly one night kind of thing. There are clubs that have a very fixed, we renew in June so they can renew from the month before to the month after. And then they switch off every single membership plan for the rest of the year. And then when it comes to the new season again, they'll turn it back on again. It mix and match, really. Again,
so is having a fixed end date the correct thing, the best way to do it on that contract length, or would it be best to set it to 3? I think there's an option for 360.
Yeah, you can do 365. You can do 365 days or 1 year or whatever.
Because if we do that, sure, that means you don't have to manually change that date then, doesn't it?
More and more, because you just set that to 01/01/0001 and they'll get a year from whenever they buy it. And then it's down to the member. If they choose to keep paying earlier than their 1 year's up, that's kind of their problem. So yeah, more and more in the modern world, I think, where people haven't got as much money and we're moving a bit kind of further forward, people are offering that 365 days. Obviously, traditionally, we've all run on the river season. So the later you buy it, the less value you're extracting from it, because you might end up with 3 months of a 12-month ticket.
Actually, thinking about it, we wouldn't want to do that because if somebody buys it, literally, the memberships do run for the river season. So if somebody was stupid enough to buy it on the last day, they'd have to buy another one the day after.
Yeah, oh, I love it. I've done it many times. Yeah, I mean, it's fair. Like I say, if they can't see the date on it and they say, okay, well, I'll buy another one, it expires. And I have a few every year at my own club. You know, handful who buy it in, you know, because we're open. We've got Stillwater and River, so they'll buy it kind of mid-April, and then it runs out in June. And they say, well, I thought it was for next year. You know, there's about 5 different screens they see the valid dates before they pay for it. You know, at the end of the day, that's their problem. You know, there's only so much we can do. It's all about kind of saving us time and trying to manage the most people. You can't manage for every single person that can't read the date 5 times. Right, Reese Ramden, we're going to move on, sorry, because it's cracking.
Sorry, just one more thing. What about that council at the end of contract?
So that should always be ticked on basically every single plan unless it auto charges.
Right.
Just understand by default that this should be cancelled every single time, because if you don't do that, it will endlessly continue. So they'll pay for a year, but it will continue to be active forever until you cancel it. So you kind of can ignore that one. That needs to be ticked on, and we tick it on by default for every plan we set up for new clients. Never ever turn it off unless you've got a really good reason to, in which case ask us.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot.
Just to answer Tony Oldfield, yes, we're going to send a recording out. I'm conscious that the time's banging on, but I'm happy to stay on the call. So if anyone wants to drop off, this is being recorded. So yes, we're going to send a recording out. If you need to drop off, please do, but I'm happy to stay on and keep answering questions. Dave, we'll go back to you again, Mr. Oh no, Reese was. Oh, sorry, we didn't do Reese, did we? Sorry. Go on, Reese.
Hello, mate. It's just trying to really clear up what we've got in whereby when we come over to you guys, everyone was set up on a renewal plan.
Yeah.
New guys we take off a waiting list go on to a new and renewal plan.
Yep.
For the past 2 years, I've then had to manually add a renewal plan to each of those memberships. Can I just point then?
Yep.
All the new and the renewal ones just for renewal membership, because otherwise I've got a couple of different membership categories now. And can I then point them all to the same membership and just tidy it all up this renewal season?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's one of the biggest value of these kind of calls are the people like yourself who've kind of got lost in the shuffle, who've kind of just missed out on a bit of information that would save you loads of hassle, you know, because it's hard for us, you know, myself and Babs do most of the customer support. We can't ring 300 clients and say, it looks like you might be able to do this easier. So if we can get a load of you to calls like this and ask those questions, yes, you can save yourself loads of time.
So it's just on that new and renewal. On the renewal tab, you just point them
to the renewal only one.
To that one, and then automatically will do it for them.
Yeah. So let's pretend that on my screen here that this top one is the new member with joining fee, and that's the adult renew. I would never tick. You never need to tick new twice because they don't need to see the new price 2 years in a row. They only need to see it the first year. So you just tick adult renew, for example. Let's pretend that's adult renew. So that adult who paid his joining fee year 1 will only see adult who don't need a joining fee year 2.
Yeah, it's going to save me a lot of aggro.
And that will save you a lot of time. But yeah, feel free to drop us a message as well, and I'll just make sure it's all in order for you.
Yeah, perfect.
Before loads of people drop off, I'm just going to show you one more brand new feature. And this isn't much to do with renewals, but certainly makes things easier. Has anyone in here had problem with people buying kids membership?
Yes.
Yes.
Where they put it on their own account and you end up with some 85-year-old man called Daisy.
Yeah.
So we've added this new feature, and this is stage 1 of the new feature. But let's just go into, and I want to make this as visually obvious as I possibly can. If I go into the junior plan here, that's for under 16s, I can now say, and I can switch tab between these, that it is an age-restricted membership. Again, bear with me because this is stage 1. So you can see I've now turned that into an age-restricted membership plan. Now, if I go into start a new membership and click on the junior plan, now, for example, just so you see what it looks like, for the adult plan, it's just going to let me continue. If I now go onto that junior plan, it's going to say, Junior, is this for you or is this for your child? And if I had children attached to me in terms of linked accounts, it would actually list them and then say select new member / child. So it's going to add an extra prompt in there. And we're about to add some text to this because this is one of the things that went live in that software update this week that ruined most people's lives. But we're about to add a bit of text in here that says this looks like it's not for you. And then you'll get yourself. So you can still buy it if you really want to, but we don't, obviously they don't want to. it will say select a new member or child, or if I already had children's accounts attached, it would list my children. So I can, because at the moment, and you'll all be aware of this, the ones that said yes really quickly. At the moment, the only way from a member that you could actually add a child's account was to go to your profile and click on add member/child, which is really not very intuitive. And I've been aware of it for absolutely ages, and we've been looking to do something about it. So what we've done as stage one is that simple tab button in the membership plan to your junior plan, just tick it on to say it's an age restricted plan. And they get this little screen that will say, do you want to add a child? As opposed to having to go some really random off route. That, for a start, go switch that on for any plans you've got that are for juniors.
Yeah.
Stage 2 of that is going to actually restrict that plan by date of birth. So junior 0 to 16 will actually only go through if someone's on the profile that has a date of birth that makes them 0 to 16. Now I've been baseball batting away for this for ages, so hopefully that's going to solve all those headaches where we get, you know, some guy who's actually got a girl's picture because it's his daughter and things like that. But stage 2 is a couple of weeks away in development, but that stage 1 for a start will just add that extra option to say add a child as opposed to having to go to your profile. So leave the call, go to your Clubmate and turn all your junior plans into an age restricted one.
Will that be rolled out across all categories? So it could be rolled across senior citizens, the whole lot, and it will be done by.
You can put it up. You can put it. At the moment, it's not date of birth. At the moment, doesn't exist. At the moment, it's just a signpost. So if you make it age restricted, it will just put a little question in, kind of thing. So at the moment, this will go as opposed to going to the adult one, and it just lets me carry on and start the membership. It will at least put a box up that says, "Do you want to add a child?" You know, it'll bring up that. Christ, now it's screwed me because it's in my basket and I'm trying to buy it. Start again, go away. If I go back to the junior plan at the moment, like I say, if you look at the difference on these, this will just let me buy it and go ahead and no prompt to say, do I want a child? This one will say, do I want to select a new member or a child? Because it's definitely not for me, it's for a child. This for stage 1 will at least put something in there with a button that says add child. Stage 2 will actually restrict this plan by the date of birth. So if my date of birth doesn't match a child, it won't let me buy it. So yeah, stage 1, at least turn that on. So at least that button to add a child is right here and not hidden away in your profile that no one knows how to find. Right, Dave Burton.
Yeah, I was just going to say on the renewals, when you're doing a renewal, there's a little tick box, isn't there? Can't be purchased more than once, because you need to leave that open if they're going to be renewing early. Earlier than your
I'm going to answer your question on can't be purchased more than once. Now, everyone, without kind of thinking too deeply into what that does for you, well, I'm in the wrong demo club now.
That was my problem, wasn't it, Rob?
Yeah, everyone does that, thinking I don't want this guy to buy 2 accidentally. Let them, because basically, if you tick that box, they can't renew at all. Because they can't renew to the renew because they're still active with that one and they're trying to buy that one that's the same. They can't because it says can't be bought more than once because it's the same descriptive plan. So the only reason you would ever do that and turn that one on is for the reason that you think, oh, well, we don't want people to buy it. Why don't you want it to buy it twice? You've got their money; it's their problem. You know, if you can go in and buy an adult plan twice, then you need to have a think for yourself, to be honest. So the reason people do it is out of fear that people are going to buy 2, and it's going to cause a problem. But it's so minor, and I can tell you now that over 90% of clubs never tick that box. That's unticked by default by us. Most people don't change the settings when we do them. Most clubs have never turned it on. It's nowhere near as problem as you think it is. And if you do that, it stops them renewing. And I've
had one bloke join 7 times.
There's always one.
There is always one.
Yeah, no, there is always one. I'm sure loads of you guys speak to me and Babs, and sometimes it's facepalm moments where you send a screenshot of the pay button. You say, I can't buy my membership. Well, here's the pay button. You literally send a screenshot of his button saying press here to pay. But yeah, just turn that off all the time unless you really, really, really don't want them. The only use case for using that functionally is if you were to run a 1-year special syndicate or something, or you run a winter ticket. Now, if you run a winter only ticket and you didn't want them to buy a winter ticket again, then you do that. if your membership's restricted or you gave a few extra places out on a special plan, then do that. But for your average all year round, everyday membership, never ever tick that box. And I've never ever really seen, short of your one, very occasional one person, seen any barrier with people buying 2-3 memberships for themselves. So just leave that unticked. Gary Packham?
Yeah, thank you. I need to make some changes to the ID cards that you're printing.
Yeah.
How do I go about notifying you of that?
So if you go to, and I'm going to hopefully be able to demonstrate this to you, I'll have to log in as an owner because I don't see the button. If you go to here and you contact support, and I'm hoping this says what I think it's going to say. If I click to proceed, and it's going to speak to me, and I click ID cards. My club's not an ID card club, but basically, if you do it, it will give you a balance of how many credits you've got left.
Right.
And then if you scroll down to these options here, you will say update my ID card template.
Right. Okay.
And if you do that, it will prompt you with a form to say what would you like to change, and when you submit that form, it will go through to our ID card guys.
Okay.
One thing to really kind of yes, obviously these seminars are great, but one thing I don't know if a lot of you guys use this on your desktop and look when you do that to contact us. I spend quite a bit of time kind of adding some of these resources in here. So if you scroll down here, you'll see join the bailiff seminar, take a look at our add-on options. And if you go into news, you'll see bookings for these seminars, information about signs. And we do like an article of the week, for example. Has your committee changed? So if you wanted to train new staff members, that will take you through to an article on how to train new staff members and things like that. So feel free to
have a look.
Have a look through some of the stuff we put in there, because we do drop some. We do drop quite a lot of news in here.
Okay. The other thing, very quickly, was we send out an automated email just as a confirmation once somebody's joined or renewed.
Yeah.
Does that email doesn't need changing necessarily, does it? From year to year?
No, it auto populates with the new season.
Yeah.
That email will auto populate every year because it plugs the data. Yeah, that plugs the data from whatever the plan says. So you don't need to do anything with that email template.
And then, should I be doing anything with software updates? You mentioned software updates. Should the user be updating?
You don't need to do anything. It's all our end. Yeah, that's all our end.
Yeah.
Occasionally there will be an update in the App Store on your phone, but that again, your phone will prompt you to do those updates. But
do that.
Nothing will stop your app from working. It will just be improvements. But yeah, don't worry about that. It's just software updates our end. Phil, go ahead.
That's great.
Is there any way that a bailiff, a nominated bailiff who are changed from a member to a bailiff, can see the other staff members? Because we have quite a lot of bailiffs, and some of them don't know each other, and when they cross each other, they can't see them on the system.
No, that is obviously a barrier. Is that a bailiff has no access to the staff list like you do, and if they're a bailiff, they are not in the members area unless they create a second account. So no bailiffs can't see other bailiffs. So I'm assuming that your bailiffs don't recognise each other and don't believe that they're a member.
Correct.
And they won't show in a member search because they don't appear in member search, they appear in staff.
See, it's a bit of a difficult, it's a bit of a grey area because
it's a hole.
Some of them don't know each other, different areas and stuff.
It's a growing kind of hole, you might say, because I don't know. I bet the clubs are kind of expanding more and getting bigger and wider over geographical areas. Obviously,
Well, we've gone from 400 to 1200.
Big difference, obviously.
So
how many bailiffs have you got now?
And it does. Well, we've just got a new head bailiff, so we've just reduced it. We're probably about 20.
Yeah, so I've got 40, and we're in like 3 counties. So yeah, I get where you're coming from in terms of that. To be honest, I put all mine in a chat group together so they all get to know each other a bit better. But
we have got a chat group, but they're not all on WhatsApp. Some older ones and stuff like that. And live members.
You have to go into WhatsApp.
Yeah, from a system point of view, at the moment that is a whole kind of a gap in the system. To be fair, Phil, I get what you're getting at with that one. I'll have a think on it. It's not something.
No is a fine answer. I mean,
no,
that,
it needs
just,
to be filled. The answer
yeah,
is
yeah,
no.
yeah. But,
Definitely no.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's definitely a gap. I'll tell
At
you
the
one.
moment.
The one thing I've asked for, Phil, by the way, is you know, on this dashboard I'm displaying here, I've asked for customizable tiles. Because obviously at the moment you've got some very fixed widgets. You can edit these and add different widgets on here, but they're all fixed. They're all ones we've decided. But like your tiles in your member area, I've asked if we can have a couple of customizable ones in here. So in your use case, you could have
add them to all that.
You know, you could have a PDF
list.
even of your stuff or whatever else. But yeah, there's quite a lot of people, and the reason I've requested it is quite a lot of clubs have said, "Can I send content just to staff members, or can I provide?"
I suppose there's nothing stopping us doing a PDF and
No,
putting it on a tile.
Members anyway.
Under a promo, can you put a tile under a promo code?
No, it's
tiles. Only it, and all the members can then recognise who the bailiffs are.
Yeah, do you not have any kind of like officers page or anything, Phil, on a website, on your website or anything? No, you know, with all your bailiffs on.
Phil, can I say something?
Go ahead.
Yeah, Phil, we've got 12 bailiffs in the Bedford Club, and I created a tile with the pictures and their names on, and I also done the same on our website. Would that help you?
We could probably go down that road, yeah.
Yeah, the one thing I'd say again, like I've always recommended, if you come onto the bailiff seminar, if you know, obviously I don't know if you came on the bailiff seminar, but in the modern world of kind of health and safety and you know all that kind of thing, I would always make sure my offices were kind of public anyway. All of my bailiffs, if I get a new bailiff, they're added to the website immediately so that a member can say, because anyone can have an ID card. You know, I can go get one made at shop.
Yeah, that's right.
But if that matches my website and they go, right, here's Joe Smith and here's the website, and I can do that on my phone and go, right, oh, he is real, you know. So having an officers page, one, would solve that problem for you, and two, is just good practice these days anyway, I would say. And whether it's a page on your website or a tile in Clubmate or both, I think it's just good practice to look at having an officers page with a profile photo on it. And that's going to solve both problems for you, because then your members can see it as well.
Okay, thanks for that advice. That's good.
Right, Bob Bailey.
Well, one way, I'm sure there's many to help solve that. In the industry I work in, we have role-based permissions, so everybody's logging into the same system, and a patient can see the things that they're allowed to see. A doctor can see the things that they're allowed to see, like all the patients, and then a pharmaceutical company can see all of their stuff. You just have to sort of assign roles and your permissions accordingly. I'm sure there's other ways to do it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, that's kind of how the system works. We've just never thought of it from that perspective. At the moment, if I was to go to the staff list and I go to demo owner over here, the role is defined by this box. And again, there's a drop. So, you know, you change it to business, you change it to manager, you change it to bailiff. At the moment, we've just not considered that gap in it, you know, that bailiffs wouldn't know each other. It does seem to be a slightly growing problem that bailiffs don't all know each other. But it's definitely a gap, Bill. It's something I'm definitely going to have a think about, to be fair. Oh dear, I've just removed half of my own access.
Can I just say that I don't know the difference between all of those and what access they have?
So I'm going to 99% recommend to you that you're either an owner or a bailiff.
That's how I've got everyone, yeah. Yeah,
so basically, bailiff is, as it sounds, you know, bailiff is search for a member. They don't get access to personal details or any of the rest of it. Just make sure I log back in as my admin account first. Staff gives you slightly more options than that. Manager gives you the list of members, you know, whereas a bailiff can only see an empty search box and type John Smith. The manager, if you set someone to manager level, they will get to see the whole members list and they can see members profiles, but they can't access your financial reporting. The reason for that, for example, is if you had a fixed fishery and you're the owner and you've got a manager, fishery manager, you want him to be able to see all your staff, see all your members, do all kinds of things, but you don't want him to see how much money you're making. So he can't access your financial reports and how much money he's going through, but he can see all the other details. For most cases of most clubs and most fisheries, bailiff or owner, because you either have bailiffs who just need to search members' names, or you need to have owner who's got access to all the admin settings, and that will cover your 2 or 3 committee members or whatever else. If we just go to it again, you can see here that I've got set up Oh gosh, it keeps landing me in the wrong demo club because I've got all of these access levels set up. So if I go here, you can see that I've got. I just need to make my owner an owner again. If I make my owner an owner, you'd all know what an owner does. Everyone here, does anyone here not familiar with what a bailiff does? You know what a bailiff can see? So we're all fairly familiar with what a bailiff can see. Yeah, basically they get a search box. So if I make this guy a manager and then I log in as this guy, you can see he can't access your settings. He's got a much more kind of larger dashboard than a bailiff would have. So bailiffs basically get locate member, add member, sell ticket. So manager will get access to a lot more kind of widgets that they can add to look at different things. When you go to members, they can see all of this, whereas your bailiff would only get the search box and have to type in, you know, John Smith. The bailiff can search, the manager, sorry, can search the member profile details because you trust them with that level of access. And if you go to reporting, they've got a much smaller list of reports than you guys have as a manager. As a manager, you would get operating and performance report and member report, you know, all the rest of it. So staff, I would ignore completely because I don't really think staff adds anything over bailiff, but you can have a lovely job.
Can managers see the other staff?
Yes. Oh no, sorry, no, because they have no access to the settings menu. So it's just the only real addition for manager is that they can see all the personal details of the members, and they can contact them, and you know all the rest of it.
Rob, did you say that bailiffs could see the bookings?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. Right.
Now that is something that does come up more often than you'd think, is that they don't think they can see who's on a day ticket. So let me just see if I can demonstrate that one for you. So if I log in as a bailiff, and I go to my bailiff dashboard, you can see, am I actually logged in as this bailiff? No, I didn't actually log in, did I? I've just gone to the bailiff and then gone back to my own dashboard. 2 seconds, guys. If I go to my bailiff here and I log in as my bailiff. So here's what a bailiff can see on their dashboard. You can see here that I can see the day tickets and I can view who is on them. This would populate with a list. The reason I think maybe sometimes the reason that you can't see this is, and I'll have to log back in again, sorry, is that on a mobile phone it can be a bit counterintuitive. So what I'm going to do, I'll stop going to the wrong one. Keep logging into the wrong thing. Honestly, the amount of times I have to navigate around this, feel I'm going blind. So
the reason I've asked this is because talking to a few of the bailiffs, and then when they showed me on the mobile phone their app, and they get the members search bar come up, but they've got nothing else there displayed.
So I'm about to emulate, hopefully, a bailiff for you. So this is a bailiff's mobile phone. They get their go to my bailiff dashboard. And instead of those yellow day ticket tiles that we saw before, it's hidden behind, because it's on a mobile and there's less real estate, it's on this button that says upcoming activities. And if I press that, it will then take me through to that list of activities there. So it's just hidden behind a button. So when it's really obvious on your desktop that you got all these yellow bars that say today, tomorrow, the next day, on a mobile phone, it just says upcoming activities, and you have to click that to take you through to the same screen just because of the real estate on a mobile phone. And all bailiffs can get that. The only, maybe they've turned it off or not, if you go back to your dashboard, and this will be the same for a bailiff, but let's imagine they've got slightly less options than I'm about to open up. That one is, sorry, I was turned on already. So if I edit mode that and turn it off, it is I just need to work out where it is. It's one of these.
Mine the only screen that's stuck on the day ticket one for the bailiffs app.
Oh, no, sorry. No, sorry. There you go. So this widget here on their dashboard that you can see, if they don't have it, is called upcoming classes. And then that will repopulate Well, all your day tickets. So the only reason your bailiff wouldn't have that on their mobile phone is if that one's turned off, but they definitely have it.
Well, what about if that day ticket was nominated to one particular person email address? He wouldn't see those tickets, would he?
If the activity is assigned to one bailiff, then they're the only one that will see it.
Yeah, but this is the problem we're getting at the moment, where we want all of them to see it, but one's responsible.
So by assigning, so when you assign the activity to that one particular bailiff, what are you trying to achieve?
Well, we got an activity in the diary,
Yeah.
which is for 48 hours on one of our lakes for booking, and we got a secretary for that particular lake, and he is responsible for the bookings, and we don't want all the owners getting an email for that particular booking. So he's the only one that can see it if he's in the bailiff category, but a staff, if you make him a staff member, he can see it as well.
So you can turn off the booking notifications and not have to assign one person. So if you turned off the booking notifications, you can still leave it visible. Everyone else can ignore it. And it's just on the dashboard, but you can turn off the booking notification so that it doesn't email every owner and every bailiff every time someone books on it. So you've kind of, what you've done is you've obviously narrowed the view by assigning it to one person to save all that, but you just need to turn off the booking notification so it doesn't send an email to everyone. And that way he just goes into this.
I don't want to steer off the membership things you're talking about. If on the activities in the calendar where an angler can only book 48 hours and he's got to leave, is there any restriction? Is there anything that we can restrict them for booking 48 hours only, or is that impossible?
So they book an activity for 48 hours.
We on the activity calendar, like what you were showing the day tickets, we got a booking for 48 hours.
Yeah.
And after 48 hours, they got to leave. Is there anything we can do to stop them, like booking 48 hours and 48 hours and 48 hours?
Restriction on the gap, so you have to have a kind of a dead period. No, basically.
Yeah, I thought that would be the case.
It's pretty much a no on that at the moment. But yeah, again, that's something that's come up before. Another one to add to the ideas pile. Again, I think a few of you have seen this, and a few of you I keep yelling at, but there is a new submit an idea button in this top corner for the last few months. Every single idea you have, send there, because we think of a lot of ideas, and I've got a lot of ideas in development that hopefully help you guys. But if I say real people say it, it makes a better business case. Now, if I can say that Phil at Exeter, who's got so many members, has got an idea.
Sorry. Where is the button? Which corner?
Top left. Can you see it on my screen?
Right. Yeah.
So
see it now. Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can, if I can say real guy with 3,000 members and the other guy with 2,000 members,
I can send you a few.
Yeah. Keep sending them. Don't think you're going to annoy us, because the more people say this, the quicker I get the things we want in the system. So,
Rob, sorry to re-ask this, but when you just said about the bailiffs and giving them access, I didn't, because we're still stuck on the bailiff screen, I didn't see where you went to do it.
So in terms of getting that widget.
Yeah.
So if you click on the edit mode,
basically.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log back in, hopefully as the bailiff. 2 seconds, and you'll see then if I log in as this bailiff, you can see that she's got it. So bailiffs definitely get it. But if I go onto the edit mode and turn that one off, all your bailiffs have got this dashboard. The one thing they can't do is you don't get the edit mode function on your phone. So at some point, your bailiff has got to log in on their computer to access the edit of the dashboard. So add an item, upcoming classes, here comes the day tickets. And then on the mobile phone, that's what then cramps down to you've got 9 upcoming activities, and they have to press it to get to these yellow bars.
They have to do that. We don't do it for them.
You can't log in as these bailiffs and change it, because this is a person-to-person individual dashboard. So at some point to edit this, they have to go. They have to go into their desktop and change it. But I'm fairly certain this is default. you know, I'd never, like I said, I don't have to do it myself, but I'm fairly certain.
For us, it wasn't. It maybe because we're a few years old now that it may not have been at that time.
Yeah, maybe now it's changed, but I'm fairly certain that's a default tile on a bailiff. I can even make someone a bailiff, so bear with me. I'll just make someone a bailiff and we'll go have a look.
It is default, Rob, but it's going back to the question I asked. If that their particular day ticket was allocated to one particular bailiff, then only that bailiff would see it.
Yes. So if I just make demo member number 3 a bailiff all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden he's in the staff list as a bailiff, I log in as demo member number 3. You can see that he's got that by default. So that should appear for every bailiff, unless at some point they've already gone onto a their desktop and turned it off. So yes, every bailiff should have that already. But yeah, you kind of, with yours, Merv, you kind of need to take that one person off it and turn off the booking notifications rather than try and restrict it to that one person.
Right. So if I take them off and untick the booking notifications.
Yes. And then the guy that is responsible for it is just responsible for going into his dashboard and seeing who's on it instead. I mean, he doesn't really need one-to-one emails. I mean, it would bug me, or even if I was the one person responsible, if I had an email every single time someone paid for something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Robertson's also got a hand up for quite a while.
Andrew, go ahead. We'll round off the last couple. I know we're dragging on, Andrew.
I mean, unbelievably, with sort of 40 odd miles of 6 rivers, we don't have any bailiffs whatsoever. But there would be nothing to stop me making, or anybody making, committee members access to the bailiffs thing, would there?
No. So obviously you're going to have owners, and you've chosen. How many have you got owners now? Owner access.
I think it's just John and I think. I'm not.
Yeah.
No, 3. Sorry, Gareth was off. Yeah.
Your committee members, if you have who is called a bailiff, I would make all your committee members bailiffs.
Right.
And just, I know this is a renewal one, but just to cover again something that people miss, if you make someone a bailiff, they will no longer appear in your members list. They will only appear in your staff list.
Oh, right.
So as long as you know that, because people often question, well, where is Matey gone? He's not in my members list anymore.
So it's a staff list, is it? You said?
Yeah. So members will, once you promote them, they never appear in that members list ever again. They only appear in the staff list.
That's brilliant. Thanks.
So just so you're aware of that one.
Yeah.
That's all right. You just answered my question. I changed
why they're not there, David.
I changed my committee, most of my committee, to managers, and I couldn't find them. But no, you just said they're in the staff members list.
Yeah.
We're always, we've been having a really, really long-term think about this one, because there's a real split between people that do and don't think that's the right thing to do. From certain perspectives, you would say, well, why would I include my staff with my customers? But as we're a lot of volunteers and stuff, there's a bit of a grey area. But again, at my own club, I would never send the same message to my members as I would to my bailiffs. So why would I want them in the same area? I would always separate them. But then there are clubs. Bailiff means a lot of things. In a lot of cases, bailiff is about 1% higher than a member. It's just some guy that checks tickets when he goes walking around. He pays full price for his ticket. Yeah. So for 99% of his time, he's an angler who sometimes asks the other guy if he's got a ticket. There are other clubs where it is a pure dedicated bailiff 7 days a week, and that's all they do, and they get a free membership, and you never have to be associated with a member whatsoever. So there's such a wide use case. And again, where we ever land with that, I'm not sure, but this is the way it works at the moment. I'm not sure there will ever be enough people to tip the balance to put them back in the members area. I find it really alien coming from a club where we've never sent the same communication to the bailiffs as we have the members. So I don't know whether that will ever tip the balance with either of those. But Dave?
Yeah, if you've got a staff member, and he's then quits, goes somewhere else, but he's got a current membership, does his current membership go back into the standard members list as the current dates and stuff?
If you demoted him?
Yeah. If
you changed him back down to a normal member, he will carry all his memberships.
Oh, good.
The membership is entirely separate to his staffness, so to speak. His membership, it doesn't functionally change his membership at all.
Oh, good.
Go on, Phil.
Sorry. One last one from me, and you're probably aware of this. ID cards. If you don't buy them when you buy your membership as a bolt-on, I've got no idea that the member has bought one, so I don't know to inform you.
Yeah, so big kind of headache that comes up. Obviously, you've had it a few times recently, Phil.
And it takes my time up.
It does take your time up. At the moment, the system cannot tell us if they buy an ID. We don't know either, Phil. You know, at the moment, there is no part of that system that tells us if someone just buys an ID card on its own.
It might be worth to put something on the ID card bolt on to tell members they've got to tell you.
Yeah, no. At the moment, if they buy it during the membership process and they go, right, membership card, membership plan ID card, we know about that, we send the ID card. If they then buy, if they buy their membership and then a week later go, oh, I really want an ID card, and they just go and buy an ID card on its own, we have no integration that tells us that. There is absolutely nothing that tells us some guy just bought an ID card. So
I think that's a fault at your end, not our end.
No, I agree. It's a bit of a gap in the process at the moment, but at the moment it's just not expected that many people do it. 2 weeks after they think, oh, I fancy a plastic card. I do agree with you, Phil. It's a hole in our process, and
I think it's because we've gone through the process of making ID cards compulsory. And then the cost of them when you get so many members and they've already got one, and then you're asking your bailiffs to check online anyway because you could have cancelled memberships or whatever. Then it's like that's why we've made our cards optional.
Yeah,
and then
I don't
have them.
I don't disagree with you at all. The problem is, as Babs has kind of just mentioned, our entire model is to have no bits of plastic in anyone's hands ever. So the amount of time we add into developing processes to send them is kind of, our membership card numbers are kind of aiming to.
Okay, all right. The membership cards were sold to me as being
end-to-end automated.
No. What is it? Biodegradable.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're not, but we're trying to remove. It's not whether they're biodegradable. We're trying to get rid of anything physical. We're aiming for an entirely digital process where people don't ever show anything physical. It's all done online with bailiffs searching on their phone or the membership. The member showing it. ID cards are something we do to kind of still kind of help people have something physical for people that want it.
I think that there is there was or is a problem where people don't get good phone reception and things like that.
Yeah, we're aiming for offline functionality.
But we've advised our bailiffs now, which other clubs might do, that if you do get someone who says, "Well, I've got one," just let it go. Let it go. Don't.
Yeah, let's not all get stabbed over it. But Phil Vanston, I was just about to answer your question. Yes, we're aiming this year for offline connectivity so that it will retain the last membership list. So yes, you might miss out on the guy that bought it 5 minutes ago. But it will retain, when you lose signal, it will retain the last members list at the point it lost signal. So you'll have the vast majority of your members, even if you have no signal. Offline functionality or native functionality, as it's called, without an internet signal. At the moment, obviously, you can't even open the Clubmate app with no signal. The aim is to have a offline functionality so that should you walk out of a signal area, you would have the last known active list of members. So yes, you might miss out on the guy that bought it 3 seconds before you got to him, but it will solve most of that.
Not in real time. Yeah.
But yeah, ID card. We're fully aware that a lot of our clubs go full digital and never take ID cards, Phil, and we're fully aware that it's going to go more and more and more that way. And I don't disagree with you at all. But it's how much time we're going to put into new processes for cards we aren't going to have one day. And we don't get that many requests for that. It's just obviously very manual for you at the moment in a few cases, but I get what you mean. It's something, if I could solve it with a really quick fix, I would. But at the moment, it's just not something we can do. And the amount of people that don't buy it during the membership plan and literally wake up one day and go, I want an ID card, and buy it separately on its own is very small. But yeah, I hope if I can ever have a discussion and someone says, yeah, we can do that in 5 minutes, in the software with an integration, then I'll do it.
Yeah. I've got to say, I've stopped. I'm ignoring the ID. What's the ones where they haven't put the picture in and stuff?
Oh, exceptions.
The ID exceptions. I've just stopped. I just ignore them now, unless they really send me an email.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I mean,
don't
the
know,
issue is, I mean, from our end, it's, we're not bothered. But if someone doesn't have a profile picture or an address or whatever else, we can't send one. So if they never get done, then obviously it's only really the member that's going to get affected by that. They've paid you a fiver and never getting it.
Paid, yeah.
So if they can't put in the reason we'll make them an ID card exception is, one, they have no profile photo at all, and two, functionally, it's no address to send it to.
I did have one the other day who sent out a card with a completely blank photo.
Yeah, I don't know how, but I'll have to beat Richard up for that one. But very, very occasionally that blank grey man goes out. I don't know how it happens.
And the other one is, I do have certain clubs that I just put their club logo on rather than a face.
Yeah, we do have some that just either have the club logo or they just request that grey man. The grey man, the grey profile man.
Yeah,
we do have.
I think I have a problem with the exchange tickets, but I think it's too complicated. So I just sort of give them a membership and then let the bailiffs sort it out.
Yeah, the exchange thing kind of, it's complicated and it's not the most intuitive thing, but it's very hard for us to facilitate going to someone's fishery that's not on our club platform. If we could talk between the platforms, we can't, if someone physically does all their work on paper, all we can really do is say, right, book in here. You Phil, tell that place they're going because they've booked on your site. It's kind of, we've wedged in something so that you can say that one of your members has got an exchange booking for that day, so you can tell the fishery. But unless that fishery joins Clubmate, there's nothing we can really do to talk to them from a digital point of view. Right, I'll hop on because we get rounded off soon. Dave.
I was just going to add that one of our sections of water is Tring Reservoirs, and it's a triple SI. There's 3 reservoirs, and there's no way on earth we're going to get a phone mast up there anywhere. So there's 0 signal on the phone, and we're giving our bailiffs the bailiff app so that they can go in and check for memberships, and they just don't work.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. I really want that offline functionality. It's it sounds like quite easy and straightforward. It ain't.
Well,
so all of a sudden,
that's why we settled with membership cards, because if they haven't physically got their card on them, they're off the water.
And the day we get that offline functionality is the day our ID card sales evaporate. Yeah, because all of a sudden, as soon as we've got that offline list and everyone can do it and say, right, here's my offline membership as a member and here's the list as a bailiff, no one needs to pay £5 a card anymore. That'll be the day it tips that balance and goes. Mostly. Nice. I look forward to it as well. And we make a reasonable amount of money out of ID cards. No need to lie about it. Obviously, we make some money. It's a good revenue earner for us in a way. But it's also, if I were to bring up our stats in support, it is by far the highest requested support ticket, because we tag all the support issues with what it is, ID cards, memberships. Because as soon as you turn anything real, as soon as you make it physically real, it's the biggest problem. It's got to go out in Royal Mail, gets lost in Royal Mail, wrong address, wrong details. So it's by far our highest support cost is in ID cards. The day that happens, great. We're like I say, our utopian aim is that every club in the country is on a digital platform, only ever shows anything on the phone.
One other thing can I say before I go? I've got a member who's been on the staff. I think he's just as a member now, but he's got no fixed abode. He lives in his car on one of our fisheries now. So he will always show up as no address, no photo. So if we just ignore him on the exceptions, he'll still get a card sent out on his old details.
If he's in the exceptions, he'll never get a card.
Oh, we never get a card. Right, okay.
If we mark someone as an ID card exception, we will never send that card until you tell us otherwise.
Well, we haven't. No, I won't do that then. But I need him to have a card. Can I get it sent to me?
Yeah. So if you see him in exceptions or you're aware that he wants one, use that ID card request form.
Yeah.
And just say so and so, whatever, lives in his car. Please just send his card to me. Yeah. And we know your address, so we've got your address, and in that one case, they'll send it to you. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Cheers.
Any more?
Question? Yeah. Is it worth mentioning Tackle Shop? Put your Tackle Shop thing.
Yeah. So I don't know if anyone's seen any of the marketing we've done around this, but any of the posts. But we're looking to support the local independent tackle shops. Tom Humphreys, who some of you may have seen in the Anglian Times, is a very good friend of mine. who runs the Tackle Shop project page, who highlights local independent tackle shops. So what we're looking to do, and I'm aware it's late, is we're going to promote all of your local independent shops in-app. They get their own dedicated tile. We'll get links through and Google Maps and all the rest of it through in-app, any website details, and we're happy to then do some email marketing about the shop as well. So if anyone wants to add a tile, and I do have a kind of couple of examples.
You've done it for us, haven't you?
Are you okay for me to show yours, Andrew?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
So if I go to the guys over at Penrith, and go to your member area, you'll see that their local shop, John Norris, has got their own dedicated tile in the app here. It's got live Google Maps, so your members can link through to go to the tackle shop with directions. It's got his website. Members of Penrith are lucky enough to get 15% off anything on sale. It's got their opening hours and a little picture. This presents very smoothly on a phone, by the way. Desktop sometimes looks a bit wonky, but it's because it's designed to present better on everyone's mobile. So yeah, any links, any phone numbers, nice bespoke banner and all that kind of thing. So any single one of you that's got a tackle shop that you really support, let us know. We'll do all the artwork. We'll do all the research. We'll steal all these pictures from his website. There's no cost. We literally want to support local independent tackle shops. Phil, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd just like to say the club gives all our local tackle shops a free membership.
Yeah, perfect. That's great. We've got loads of different cases. John Norris here gives discount to the members of the club. We've got another club that gives discount to its members if they shop in the shop, and they provide, if they provide proof they've shopped at their local independent, they get a cheaper membership behind a promo code. You guys obviously give free membership to your tackle shop.
I also do it as a bailiff one as well, so that they can help sign people on.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly. This is as part of the tackle shop project, the first thing is get a tile in the app. The best solution, as you've done, Phil, is to make them a bailiff, to make the tackle shop owner a bailiff or manager or whatever you like, and then they can help. And some of the old boys who struggle with the online stuff have still got a really good reason to go to the tackle shop, speak to the owner, buy some maggots, buy a few bits.
Absolutely.
So if you've got shops, and I ran a shop for 3 years, so I know what it's like in a little independent. If you've got a tackle shop, get in touch with us and we'll put all this in for free. All you need to say is, yes, I want to do it. Here's the shop. I've got his permission. We'll do all the work. You'll have a tile kind of the next day. So just let us know if you've got any local shops you want to put in your
I've got about 4.
Yeah, you can get stuffed. Yeah, no, we'll no, don't worry. We've already got one that's got 2. 4's a bit better, but they all deserve their own bespoke tile. So go right ahead. Just drop me a message in support, Phil.
I will do.
And
Tomorrow.
make sure you get the old permission from the shops. So
okay.
I'm happy.
If they want to speak,
if they want to speak about it, then yeah, I can't. I mean, at the end of the day, it's free advertising.
No, they'll be right up for it.
Yeah, if they want to speak to us about what's going on, then please get them to speak to me. But I can't see it being an issue.
No.
Phil Vanston.
Okay, mate. Just talking about what you're talking about, the tackle shops there, like you guys, we've made most of our local tackle shops free members, life members, because they support us left, right and centre, to be fair. But you were just saying about if we make them bailiffs, they will be able to add members through their profile. Is that correct?
Yeah, so they can register a new member in their app. They then have to point that member to log in on their own device, but they can register the member. They say, right, what's your name and email address? And they go, right, add. And then they have to tell the member to log in, kind of thing. But we can put QR codes in the shops as well. Bearing in mind, each one of your clubs has got its own QR code. So each one of your Clubmate sites has got a join here QR code that you might not use, but I'll show you where it is. I'm just going to borrow you again, Penrith. So if you go into apps over here in your club settings, this is the link to join your club. So you can put that on the till in your tackle shop and just say, right, scan there. I know not everyone can do QR codes, but yes, you can make them a staff member. Yes, they can register people. Yes, you can get a little poster made with a QR code so people can scan in the tackle shop. Did someone just send a message about their tackle shop?
Yeah, I've just asked them to drop us an email via support ticket system.
Yeah, just put the contact us in support so we've got a proper record of it that's not in this chat, if you can, please.
Basically, so if we get that QR code put in the tackle shops, because the guys currently are basically, they've got access to the link, then they're helping most of the members do it on their phones and go through the proper sort of procedure, if you know what I mean. But we have got a very, very high demographic of people that are 65 plus.
Trust me, they're all the same, but it's about 35%.
They just haven't got smartphones, to be fair.
It's usually around 30% 30 to 35% is your standard adult membership. And trust me, every single brand new club that joins us says we're not like other clubs, we've got an old membership. And every single time it's about the same amount. But yeah, I know it's difficult sometimes, and yes, this is a great way to tie the two together. Is like, okay, you can still go to your tackle shop because we've got a great relationship. They can help you buy all your stuff. Go in there and buy a rod. So it helps in either regard. But always, and especially for the new guys like Andrew and that, and you've been through this in the last week or so, Andrew. Don't always just believe that because it's an old demographic they can't do any of this, because I hear it so many times. A lot of the owners that are on these calls are in their 70s. A lot of people are in their 80s. Now, if they can run a club on Clubmate, you can buy your membership. You know, and as many of you have heard me say this before, you have to go online to buy your broad license. So if they've managed that, they can manage this. So
they've all got kids and grandkids as well, haven't they?
Got a son or a daughter, you know. So don't let yourselves be spogged under with work manually adding everyone's membership because they say I'm retired. Because you know, we've got the oldest owner I'm aware of in your position is nearly 90. So if a nearly 90-year-old, and that's managing a membership of over 2,000. You know, if someone who's nearly 90 could manage 2,000 members with all the admin access, then surely you can go in and buy one ticket. And yes, there are exceptions, but there's no one that's got no family, no friends, no one else that fishes, no son, no daughter, you know. So don't let yourselves get 20, 30, 40 people you have to manually add. So this is for you guys, you know, just push back a little bit. Don't be rude or anything, obviously, but, you know, just push back a little bit and say, come on, give it a go.
Rob,
any more questions?
Rob, absolutely. I normally direct them to, have you got a son, have you got a daughter?
Otherwise, you know, I've said this many times, they will let you do it until you're dead. You know, they'll do it every single year for the next 100 years if you say yes every year. So one year or another, and I've done it with my own members at my own club, say, right, no, this year you're doing it. You know, if you mess it up, I'll fix it for you, but you're having a go. And I've had it 5 aborted transactions, and number 6, they'll get it. The transactions never cost anyone anything except learning. You know, just let them have a go. But yeah, just push back so you don't get, like I say, people like Andrew and John that have just joined us from Penrith, don't get trapped in that. Especially in your first year, because you're already afraid of something different. You know, you're already thinking the members are going to struggle because it's different. Don't let yourselves get flogged to death, because of course we advertise we're here to make your life easy. They will make your life hard because they will let you do it. Every single one of them will say, you know, I can't do it. I'm sending you a check. You know, I can't do it. I'm paying by bank transfer. Just say no. Rip the checks up. I've done it. I've literally ripped a check up and said, no, you pay online. So just keep pushing it back.
Anyone who's got a bank account has a debit card and they can use it.
So yeah, remember, this is here for you guys to make your life easier as Clubmate is the primary goal. The secondary goal is for everyone to have an easy life, because they only have to buy once a year. If there's not, you know, if your members can't put 2 minutes of effort in once a year, for you guys to put hundreds of volunteer hours into it, it's a bad do. So I'm not saying don't ever help anyone, but certainly just be firm enough to make sure they've had a good go.
Rob, you're absolutely bang on with that. The amount of older people that I've had actually ring me up and I've talked them through it, and at the end of it, when they've actually seen the app and everything that's available, they've just been like, wow, quite frankly.
So if I just back again to here, I don't know if I've got it in this one, but I'll have a look. And if any of you want this as well, I've got a set of code now that I can put in your members area that will put how to buy a membership, how to renew your membership, and how to add a child in your members area as a YouTube video. So any club that wants this as a tile,
from here, just need to enter our details
step by step with every screen.
Once we've entered the details, I just need to tick the.
So at that stage, all you've got to do is get them to register, and then there's a set of videos that shows you step by step on every single screen of how to buy your membership. So if anyone wants that tile added into their own club, please let me know and I'll do it. But drop a message in support so we've got a proper record of it.
Rob, can that be added into the membership? where you buy a membership rather than a separate tile?
I can probably link that in the
top at the beginning.
Little emails, maybe.
You probably link that in the welcome email. I can URL it anywhere, so I can put a URL link in the welcome email, in the membership description, and on the members area. But bearing in mind, if they've registered, they've got here. They can definitely find it because they've definitely got here. You know, we can't speak to them before they've ever registered, but once they've registered, they're already here. You know, so they just go.
Where we advertise buy a membership, can it be added in there at the top?
In there. So you can't edit this page to add any text.
Not necessarily, no, not the renewal, the buy a new membership.
That is the buy a new membership there. There is no, unfortunately, you can't add anything to this page. You could put it into the text, but that's too late by that point. They've kind of already done most of it.
I don't mean us.
So where you
guys put it in there, so that it's at the very top.
We
You've got
can't
this,
even edit.
yeah, I mean, we could do. The only problem is, and I've had this discussion this week, is if we start advertising 100 videos of how to do it, everyone already assumes it's complicated. And joke, as funny as that is, you know, if we start having to put a how-to guide on every page, we've already told everyone it's hard. But what you can do, by the way, this area at the top where you can see I've put a header image and this kind of clickable banner, all of you owners can actually edit this and drop some links in or text or whatever else into this area. So if you want to put a message in giant text that says, click here to learn how to renew, then please do. And you can make any of this clickable. You can see here that on mine, I've put a banner through to my webinars, you know, so you can book onto these webinars. So there's a lot more you can kind of do with this site than some of you have obviously got, where you've got 2 or 3 tiles. You can put a lot of content in here. Phil, I'm going to let you go, and then we're going to call it a night because it's nearly 9 o'clock now.
All right, quick one. I've got adults who have added juniors, but there's no photos or profiles of the juniors.
So they've just got a junior membership on their own profile.
Yeah.
Yeah, that needs changing. That's what that process earlier is supposed to stop, by the way, which has only come in this week. So firstly, we need to put that onto all of your junior plans. How many? You didn't know about it. To be fair, we haven't.
No,
actually,
I didn't.
We haven't actually told anyone yet because it's gone
right.
live and we're just having a play with it. And tonight's the kind of first announcement, by the way. But yeah, that will be, because at the moment, like I said earlier, at the moment, if you go, people buy their adult membership and they think, right, I want to buy a little Jimmy, so they go, I'll go buy another one, and they just buy another one, and all they've done is buy a junior membership on their own profile.
Yeah.
And how you're supposed to buy a junior one is to go into their account and go, the little button that adds a member. It's the least intuitive thing that was ever made on earth. But now that we've got that age restriction and you click on a membership that you have chosen to be age restricted, it will say, give it to this child. But again, Phil, I'll come back to you during daytime hours.
Personally, I would like to separate it completely and make them make an email address for that child and keep them totally separate.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason they can't do that. They can go create a completely different email, but the only issue is it depends what you talk about child, but they won't have an email address, possibly.
Well, it's easy. It's easy for the parent to make an email address. Gmail address.
Technically, the best way
coming from your end, not our end.
No, technically, the best way to manage it is the linked profiles, add a child to your profile, and all the rest of it. But yes, they can just create a different account with a child kind of thing.
Have that instruction with it.
Yeah,
right. Thank you.
We get the same. We've had the same problem in the Bideford Club, where Phil just said where they've created a junior membership, but anybody under the age of 12, I don't really agree that they should have a email address of their own, because they could get sorts of emails being sent.
You would
to them.
probably be challenged quite a lot if you were insisting on 12-year-olds. Even if the parents have created it, I would say you would be challenged if you were creating separate new email addresses directly for a 12-year-old. And just the other end of that to cover is that no, you can't just let them fish with no ticket because they're not insured. I covered this on a previous seminar. I've been guilty in the past at my own club of saying, well, we don't charge juniors, so just let them go fishing, don't give them anything, all this kind of stuff. They need to have some physical, whether it's physical or digital, they need to have some proof of being a member of a club.
We're under the Angling Trust, and our insurance doesn't cover us for 12 years old, unattended by an adult.
Yeah. So firstly, they have to be attended under 12, which is in your Angling Trust insurance. But secondly, even if they are over 12, or even if they've got someone with them, they still need to have a kind of a proof of a membership or a ticket.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
So it can't just be, well, we don't charge them, so just let them carry on. They need to have a membership, even if it's a free junior membership.
Even though 2 months old, they still have to have a membership in
so
our club.
It's a big hole that I've seen at a lot of clubs where they just let them fish kind of thing. So last thing, and then we're going home, even though I am home. But I've just set up a new site called the Clubmate Community. Now, this is a special Clubmate site. It's very pretty, but this is designed purely for owners, and this is for you to all get some brand new information, regular upskilling sessions. It shows you all of your member benefits, more information about upcoming seminars. And what I want is for any owner that really wants to get the most out of Clubmate and wants to give us the best ideas first and hear the first things about development first, let me know and we will add you to this. And then you're going to get the earliest information, the most conversations. You can come to me once a week for some extra training on something. So if you're interested in an owner as your club of joining in, and it's all built in a Clubmate site, as you can see, let me know. I will add your owner account to it, and then you can just switch between your club and this club with a switch tile in your members area.
You can add me to that, Rob.
Yeah, with pleasure. Babs, make a note, add Mervyn Beale to that one.
That's what you sent me last night, wasn't it, Rob?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is designed. I mean, this doesn't take anything away from your normal support, by the way. But what this is, if you really want to, and this is going to be, myself and Babs giving extra time, we'll set up an extra upskilling session every week. And if you can join it, we'll go through renewals this week and this week and, whatever else the next week. It kind of asks questions. So I'll ask you a single question here, which is my question of the week. This will be submit your ideas, which you've already got anyway. You've all got a load of member benefits at the moment, most of which no one's using. So all of you get 10% off with British Aquacare. Drew at British Aquacare does fishery management services like netting and things like that. Babs, make a note of all the ones coming in. So you all get 10% off at your clubs for being a Clubmate club with our mate Drew at British Aquacare, who does netting, stocking, all kinds of fishery management services. Every angler can have 20% off Fish Flicks with this code. Every angler can have 10% off Penning's Carp Academy subscription with that code. You can all get exclusive media packages if you want films and pictures made at your fishery with Jamie at Brother Carp. And all of your anglers can get 10% off Catch Cult, which is a great specimen magazine, by the way. I actually do subscribe to it. But I've kind of focused that in there so that you can see what all your member benefits are. Gives you a link to the upcoming seminars, link to blog, link to your benefits, article of the week, link to a podcast, various things. So if any owners want to get kind of an additional chance, like I say, we're not removing anything for support. This is us giving it more time to kind of give you that session. I will put like a session on a week that's an hour long. It's not going to suit everyone's time, but if you can make it this week, we'll go through like a menu option. This week I'll go through everything that's in Club Info. Next week we'll go through marketing, whatever. So anyone that wants to join that, I want the people that want to bother to come to it and get more out of it. And we want people to be more successful, and we're willing to give the time for you to be more successful. And the more successful you are at your clubs, the richer we're going to get. The more members you've got, eventually the more you're going to pay us in membership. So it works for all of us in the long run, and I'm happy to give the time because I'm passionate about making sure angling's successful. So Babs, hopefully you made a note of those. Other than that, we'll call it a night, guys.
I'll send mine in tomorrow, Rob.
Yeah, no problem, Andrew. Just when we do send you the register link for that, you will get kind of an instruction anyway, but make sure you use the same email as your owner account, because I want the owner accounts on there. And if you can, and I can do it for you if you can't, make your profile picture the club logo. Because that way I can have a good list and see who the clubs are. And one more thing before you go, when you register, go to the starter membership. I'm going to make you all do it now. Choose whether you are a club or a fishery. So choose whether you're a non-profit club or a fishery. It's a free membership plan, but obviously, as you'll all know, I can then filter you all in the members area, and I can send messages that might just be specific to the clubs and messages that might be specific to the fisheries. So once you've registered with the community site, just choose the one that's relevant to you. It's a timeless membership. It's like 100 years long, so you only ever have to do it once. So when you register, do that. At that note, we'll call it a night, guys. Thank you very much. It's been a really long one, but it's been really good and interesting. I'm much happier to answer your questions, but thank you very much. Any questions, pop it into support. I will send the recording out as soon as we're all done.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Evening, folks.